Good afternoon, Advocate.
Good afternoon, Sichi.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you, Sichi?
Good. You studied at VETS
Yes, Sichi.
and obtained which degrees?
BA in philosophy and law, and then LLB and LLM.
An LLM in competition law and media law.
Yes, Sichi.
But before you went to university, you did a whole range of things.
Yes, Sichi. It's a convoluted history. It's a long history.
Yeah, yours is a truly remarkable story, I think. You worked as a farm worker, you were barely a man, you were just a boy, really, when you started working as a farm worker.
Yes, CJ, I needed money to go to the to high school. I had
So
finished.
You left school before you finished your matric.
I beg your pardon, CJ.
I'm asking if you left school before you finished your matric.
Yes. But the farm stint was before I went to the high school, just finishing primary school.
Then you were golf cadet at some stage.
Yes.
And then you went to work in the mines.
Yes, the golf caddy was still during the time when I was still in high school.
Oh.
And then I ended up with the certificate called JC, Junior Certificate. And then I couldn't complete my matric. Then I went to work in the mines as a miner and a security guard.
How old were you then?
I was about 17 when I went to the mines. And
you worked underground, loading stone?
Yes, I worked underground for almost 6 months until an unfortunate incident where some of my co-workers lost their lives. Then I asked the security people to show me where the security office was, and I then asked for a job there because I was scared to go back underground.
Yeah, my goodness. How long did you work in the mines? I count, we say between 1981 and 1989.
Yes, I think I worked in the Barberton mines until 1989. Then I came here in Joburg in the same year, 1989, and I worked for a mine called JCI at the time in Randfontein as a security guard. Then I quit and went back to complete my matric.
That's commendable. And here you are today.
Yes.
All right. I see that you were quite active at the University of the Witwatersrand. You were a member of the SRC. You tutored undergrad law students, and you helped set up a center, the Wits Law Students Council Writing Center.
Yes.
What was that for? What did it do?
The writing center at the time, CJ, it was during the time when the LLB degree was now downgraded to the undergraduate degree. Maybe I was the last. I was in the last group to do LLB as a postgraduate. Then we realized that people who were coming straight from matric to do LLB were struggling with assignments, and we then fundraise with other core members of the Law Student Council, including Professor David Belches, who's acting in your court,
Well, not anymore.
And also Professor Bonita Mesfield, who's still at VETS. And with the assistance of the law firms, we then managed to establish that writing center. So how we ran it is the top student will then mentor the undergraduate students.
All right. Okay, then fast forward, you did pupillage in 2004 and directly thereafter started practicing as an advocate.
That's correct, CJ.
And you continued until you took silk in July 2020.
Yes, the recommendation was in 2020. Yes.
So, what kind of cases have you been doing at the bar?
My practice is a general practice, CJ. As you have seen in my application form, spread. Uh, I started with administrative law, mainly on mining, and then competition, and then medical negligence and criminal law.
And I see that you are continuing with what you started at university. You still mentor and train pupils and young members
Yes, CJ,
of the bar.
I'm a trainer in the advocacy training that is now it's convened by Advocate Makola SC.
And you also assist with moot competitions.
Yes, CJ.
And you are a member of the Johannesburg Society of Advocates Sexual Harassment Committee. What are the responsibilities of that committee?
We are trying to assist members who have been sexually harassed by co-members internally within the Johannesburg Bar Council. Yes.
All right. Are there any judgments, reported judgments, of matters in which you participated as counsel?
Yes. There is one that is reported in the Competition Appeal Court and about 3 in the Gauteng High Court.
And you started acting as a judge in the Gauteng Division.
Yes, and
When?
I think in 2019, but I started doing the pro bono ones. Until last year, I did 2 full terms. Last year, no, this year, I did 2 full terms.
The first and the second terms.
Yes.
So that's 3 full terms then.
Yes. And
plus the pro bono work, you can't quite.
No, I haven't done any pro bono acting stint. All of them, I did the first and second term, and the third term was not entirely the whole term, but about 2 months of that.
Are you saying you acted pro bono throughout?
No.
All right. What did you say about pro bono?
I said this year I haven't acted pro bono.
Oh, all right. I was going to ask how you, well, who am I to ask counsel, senior counsel, that kind of question? You have written judgments in the High Court.
Yes.
How many?
According to my spreadsheet, I think I've got 43. Yes.
All right. In what kind of matters?
They vary, CJ, commercial and criminal, and I was sitting in full court, civil appeal court, full bench and full court.
Yes. Did you get to conduct any trials, civil or criminal?
Criminal, yes. During my third term, I was doing, my second term, I was doing criminal. I was in the criminal court.
How many criminal trials have you done?
5.
Completed them?
2, I've completed them. 3 are still part here. I was dealing with one today, hearing evidence in respect of sentence. And the other one, I heard evidence in respect of sentence last week.
So you are acting at the Gauteng Division of the High Court as we speak?
Yes.
All right.
And then there's one where I'm still dealing with the trial. That one is also part 8 because I think I shot myself in the foot, CJ, because I exercised the court's right to call court witnesses in terms of Section 186.
Yeah.
And I still have to hear those witnesses next week.
When you submitted your application to the JSC Secretariat, you listed 8 reserve judgments, the oldest going back to September last year.
Yes, CJ, and unfortunately,
What is the status of these matters?
Unfortunately, some of them were quite late, and it's regrettable, and I apologize. But one of the reasons is that I wrote those judgments, but I was waiting for my co-judge, who was not available to look at them. But as we speak, all of them have been delivered.
All 8?
All of them. The only reserve judgment that I have are the ones that I'm dealing with in my Part 8 criminal matters.
Or had you sat were they appeals? All of them? I hear you speak of your co-judge.
About 2 of them I was waiting for the co-judge, and then the other one was my own delay. It was a review, but that has also been subsequently delivered.
That accounts only for 3. What about the other 5?
Let me just
in which ones did you sit alone? In which ones did you sit with another colleague or colleagues?
Let me look at my spreadsheet.
You can just go to your bundle at page 19. That's where your application form is. Have you found the page?
Yes. The first one, I was waiting for my co-judge, and the second one.
And who was that co-judge?
I beg your pardon?
Who was the co-judge? Do you remember?
Yes.
Who was it?
Judge Kumalo. Yeah, and he was engaged in the labor court at the time when I was looking for him. He was in the agent court at the labor court.
Okay. And the second one?
Both. Then the rest are mine.
But 7 are yours?
Yes.
And why did you delay the judgments?
I think, CJ, I shot myself in the foot by acting for 2 terms consecutively, and I was not able to complete the judgment because I was also running my practice after the recess, and I postponed some of my arbitration to those dates, and I couldn't complete them on time.
In fact, you can take numbers 6 to 8 off the list because the others were reserved just on the last day of April, and the other one was reserved in June. So it's the 5 that we were worried about, really.
Yes, and that's the reason, CJ, because although I've acted for most of the time this year, I didn't close my practice, and we agreed with the JP that I shouldn't close my practice, but the price that I pay was also to juggle my practice with my acting stints, and that largely contributed to that. But as I said, CJ, it is regrettable, and I apologize.
But they've been delivered?
Yes, all of them now, as I'm sitting here, they are all have been delivered.
Okay. JP Mlambo, do you have questions for your candidate?
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Advocate Mkhabela, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, JP.
Yes, you've been taken through your cases by the CJ. Mine is to help you show the Commission what you've done and where you've acted. I focus mostly on the difficult work areas. Your spreadsheet illustrates that you've done a total of 43 weeks acting. These are all stipendiary. No, I think the first 4 were pro bono, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct?
Yes.
Thank you. You've done 6 weeks of opposed motions. I think you're the second highest in that range. And then, but you've done 1 special motion and 4 urgent courts. Is that correct? You agree with it?
Yes.
And you also agree that urgent court work is a difficult work area in Gauteng.
Yes, indeed, JP is very difficult.
Yeah. I would imagine, because I want to move on to your judgments, having done 6 weeks in the opposed motions as well as in the urgent court, this is the reason that your reserve judgment record is not that pleasing. You agree with me?
Yes.
I can take you through. You've written, I'll tell you now, some 47 judgments.
Yes, JP.
Yeah. And I want you to comment on this because it's only fair. You're a senior member of the bar. I've had other senior members of the bar coming to act, and they also have practices, but your record, you have, according to this, there are 5 judgments which took you 7 months to finalize. I can show them to you if you want.
No, I agree.
There is 1 that took you 9, I think there's 2 that took you 9 months. There's 1 that took 13 months. There's 1 that took 12 months. And I think another 1 that took 5 months. It's not that great. Do you agree with me?
Yes, JP.
Now, these are the questions that this body asks itself to say the problem we have with reserve judgments needs to be addressed. And especially here, when a candidate stands for judicial appointment, we check how the candidate has fared acting. You know, Judge President Mwepe used to say, this body must caution against creating permanent problems. What he meant was the judge becomes permanent. And if a judge has a problem with reserve judgments, that problem is permanent until the judge retires. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, JP.
So I'm raising all this in all fairness to you because I want you to tell this commission what is it that will change. Because these reserve judgments are not only in 1 term. They straddle your whole acting career from when you started till recently. You've been picking up these and the 12 months one, the 13-month one concern me. But what is it that you think will change and what will make it change for us not to see this problem recurring should you be recommended for permanent appointment?
Thank you, JP. I think what will change is that I will not be juggling my practice now with acting. It has always been a challenge if you don't close your practice and you act for quite some time.
Yes.
You still have to do your private work, and that also could take you time.
Yeah.
But if I'm appointed permanently, that problem of taking time to deliver judgment is not attributed to a lack of ability to write them, but juggling practice and acting.
Yeah. A problem that I've identified, and I think I'm just raising with you, is, and I think it applies to you as well, You don't use the researchers to help you. Is there a reason why?
Recently, I've used them. All the judgments from this year, JP.
Well, I'm happy to hear that this year you have, because some colleagues of yours who act in the High Court don't use the researchers. And when I say use the researchers, is you don't ask them to write your judgments. You ask them to assist with the research underlying your reserve judgment.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of your colleagues prefer to do their own research, when it delays things. So you say this year you've started using them.
Yes, I started using them during my second term.
Yes.
One of the senior Judge Kuvaji, even impressed on me that they are quicker to assist us, and I found them very helpful.
Yes, they are quicker and they are very good. Just that they are overworked, and the minister is here. She knows that a division as big as Gauteng with about 84 judges relies on 12 researchers, So sometimes they battle to...
Yes, and they will tell you that give me maybe another 7 days or 8 days to retain your judgment, because they are not only dealing with you alone.
Yes.
Yeah, but they are helpful, JP.
Okay. So, in all fairness to you, out of 5, how would you score yourself for reserve judgment? You see, my scoring matrix is, if you've delivered all your judgments before the end of 3 months, I give you the total, that's fine. If you have some that have gone over 3 months but less than 6 months, you go to 4. You go beyond 6 months to 9 months, you go to 3. Beyond 9 months over, you go to 2. The score decreases the longer you take with your judgment. Taking account of your own record, where would you score yourself?
Objectively, JP, my own record will be 5, because some of the delays I was waiting for my co-judges.
All of them?
The one that
you mentioned
longer, the one that are longer, the longest one I was waiting for my court judge.
Okay, so the 2, the 12-month and 13-month one.
Yes.
Okay, but the others are yours.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Chief Justice. I've got no further questions.
Thank you, JP. Premier?
Thank you so much, Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Advocate Mkhabela.
Good afternoon, Premier.
I was checking with the JP that this is the Mkhabela I know, because ever since I became a member of this, I've been confronted by application. So I just want to wish you well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I'm reading emails from work. I'm juggling my constitutional court emails and this interview. Some of the things we have to do. Questions, colleagues? JP Tlaletsi.
Thank you, Chief Justice, and good afternoon, Mr. Mkhabela SC.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I just want you to clarify something, lest there be any confusion. And I do appreciate that it's quite difficult being a single practitioner or an independent practitioner to allocate such a lot of time to act, which every head of court would gladly accept and wish to have. But now please clarify, if you say you did not close your practice during the period, if I did understand, hear you well, does it mean you're also practicing? And what kind of practice, if that is the case, were you appearing in court representing clients and also being an acting judge? Just to clarify that, thank you.
Thank you, JP. No, I was not appearing in court. I was just dealing with some drafting and reading.
Thank you.
Acting President Zondi.
Sorry,
drawing
no, I don't have
attention
a
to him.
question. Yeah, I was just drawing your attention to
No more
JP
hands
Tlaletsi.
here. Okay, thank you, AP. Commissioner Hassan.
Thank you very much, CJ, over here, advocate. Mine is less of a question and perhaps more of a comment. Just on maybe on a lighter note, I was also not too long ago a student at Wits University, and I quite regularly attended the law writing center. So it's on a lighter note to meet some of the people who founded that program. Sometimes it helped me, sometimes it gave me more anxiety, but not because it was inefficient, more because I was always a last minute kind of student. CJ, that was it. I'm very comfortable with the line of questioning that the JP and yourself led. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioners on the virtual platform, do you have questions?
Thank you very much, CJ. Good afternoon, Advocate Mkhabela.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
Did I hear you correctly that amongst others, you also do commercial arbitrations?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Yes, can I please ask you, because it seems to me that a lot or some or most of the business people are choosing not to give the High Court or the courts generally an opportunity to develop jurisprudence in that area of law. And they choose to do that kind of work privately. And you find that the awards that are granted, they are shrouded with secrecy. So we don't know how actually this thing works. What do you think should be done to expand the expertise in as far as arbitration work is concerned, and ensuring that at least the courts get the bite at it, and so that the jurisprudence relating to that kind of work can actually grow? Do you think there is something that can be done under those circumstances?
Thank you, Commissioner. I think what could be done maybe to codify the jurisprudence that is developed in the context of private arbitration. Maybe if there can be our own law reports that can be accessed by law students and stakeholders, that will help. But as far as expanding arbitration is concerned, the AFSA conducts a number of training, and people are always encouraged to attend and acquire the necessary skill. And recently, the JP is on record to encourage litigants also to make use of arbitration and mediation prior to approaching our courts. So if that advice is heeded, it will go a long way.
Thank you very much, Advocate Mkhabela. Thank you very much, CJ.
Thank you, Prof. No more hands? All right. Thank you, Advocate.
CJ, can I say something to the candidate?
Oh, yes.
Advocate Mkhabela, your history at being a farm hand at a very early age reminds me of a very painful part of my history. My father, when he was of the age, around 7, where the farmer expects the children of the people who live on the farm to work on his land, when he was of that age, he refused to go work at the farm, and he'd heard that you can get an education. And because of that, the farmer evicted them from the farm. They spent the next 2 years being homeless. So that's the chord you touch in me. You come from those roots, and you are here today. I want to applaud you for that. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, JP.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for making yourself available for the interview, Advocate. You're excused.
Thank you.